tales of our endeavors proliferate.
Is the Fantasy Ground server up?
Yep.
How much experience do we have at this point?
I think about 20.
For some reason, I feel like you... I forget which one you gave us extra experience in. This
Exalted.
That was exalted.
one? Okay.
I want to play that later.
Yeah, we're at the 20 right now. Alright, hello everybody and welcome to the stream. I am Razim and this is Darkest Dreams World of Darkness. I will turn it over now to... what's your character's name? Okay, it is Sky. I will turn it over now to Sky, since you kind of had one of the bigger roles in the last session. For the recap.
Yay, recap. So, on our last session, we went and, let's see, took Lucky back to the sixth circle to give to our Bennett to go and keep safe. Ended up getting found by a reality-altering mage. I don't remember what they're called.
The Marauders.
A marauder. and they decided that they were going to focus in on our group and that they wanted us dead. So, we got out of the tick circle as quickly as possible. Lucky is still there. Everything is, in theory, okay. There was a few deaths of civilians because the Marauder is just crazy. And somehow Sky managed to go and talk them down from murdering us, and hopefully they are in the process of leaving the city to a less populated area. Unfortunately for us, we have 2 mages in our party, so reality folded in on us, and in some flash of light we are now in the Werewolf Hell.
I definitely blame Frost for this.
Yeah, well, Frost just glares at you. And then the 2 mages.
Don't look at me. I tried to help us get out of there.
I did my best to make sure that we weren't dead.
I mean, we're now in hell, so we might be dead for all we know, and just got sent to the wrong place.
I mean, to me, it's sort of like home. Death is a constant.
I suppose. So we've got to make our way over to the castle there.
Correct.
Do we see like a particular path to take, or just head off?
Are we like standing on anything? Better question.
Oh yeah, there's like almost like dirt roads leading through the different paths around the lakes and rivers of silver.
Ah,
There are
so it's
also
like
rafts and small boats going through the rivers of silver, usually being manned by the brood.
okay. I was worried we were like sort of perched on rafts or something, and there was just this huge ocean of silver.
No, but the castle in the distance, the only way you could probably get to it is through a raft or a boat, it looks like.
Frost, well, these guys are more your people than they are the rest of us. Would you mind asking one of them for, a ride?
Frost just looks at you and shakes his head.
Right, well, I guess I'm doing it. I suppose we'll all start making our way towards the castle. And when we
Okay.
need to, we'll try and wave down one of the boats to get passage across.
Okay. It's not that difficult. Most of the brood seem to ignore you guys for the most part. They seem more focused upon doing their tasks. Usually that seems to be watching over and ensuring that none of the werewolves get out of the silver.
Quick
So they're
question.
like poking them with sticks.
Only if they actually try to escape. Most of them don't. They're too busy screaming and thrashing in place.
So,
What was the question?
quick question. Do any of
Mhm.
them look like they're faking doing their tasks?
No.
Okay. Thought I'd
Do they
keep
seem
an
like
eye
they
out for...
enjoy their tasks?
No.
That's a shame.
You may make an intelligence occult roll, everybody, if you wish.
Intelligence occult.
How does it affect your roll if you don't have a cult?
You take a -1 penalty, so you roll 1 less dice.
I guess that's one.
Hot Socks is panicking over the donation goal.
What's the donation goal? What's the donation goal?
Just a reminder, Oddsox, 10s explode, so you get to re-roll them.
Yeah.
Ones are a -1 success, so you got 1.
So, Bren and Cody, you both know on your research and study that you guys are not dead. You guys are not basically, I'm trying to think of the proper way to phrase it in the way you guys would understand. Cody, from your research, you would know that you are in the spirit world. Bren, you know that this is the Umbra. Specifically the Middle Umbra. Which is usually going to be filled with umbral realms of basically places or events created by things that happen in the real world, or a reflection of beliefs and such that shaped a realm. Cody, with that role, you know what these things are. The Brood. They are not real werewolves. These are spirits. Each and every one of them is a spirit, and they are all linked together. What one Brood knows that all of them know. And they are tasked to punish and to help those who are submerged within the silver to learn their mistakes and to help them basically either repent or to get over whatever corrupted them, to face it down and conquer it and to come back.
I would also know that my magic should be easier here, right?
Correct. The magic within Erebus, magic is going to be much easier in this world. However, in the in the Middle Umbra, it's going to be not. It depends on which realm you are in. In Erebus, this type of realm, this is going to be more aspected towards the wild than most other realms. So using magic here should be easier for you. Yes.
Well, we don't have a whole lot else to do but just venture forward, because I don't know about the rest of you, but I would really like to get back to proper reality.
Tales of our endeavors proliferate.
Though I won't be surprised at all if we wind up in Australia or something when we get out of here. I'm really not looking forward to figuring out how to walk on my hands.
With that roll, Cody, you'd also know there's only one entrance into Erebus and one exit from Erebus. The gate of Erebus is usually guarded by Cerberus, and there's only one path that leads into Erebus itself from the Umbra. The only way out, so the stories go, is by speaking with the ruler of this realm. Caris is her name.
And that is and we've got to get there by going through
The Silver Lake to get to the castle in the center of it. Yes, none of the brood attempt to actually impede you, though. Most of them just ignore you guys. I mean, other than looking at you when you're walking by to make sure you're not trying anything.
Suppose we don't really belong here.
No, we don't.
About
I mean,
half.
Fluffykins might, but that's to be determined.
What's up, Bren?
About how far across is the lake?
A couple miles. But you would know that distance is subjective here.
Well, I want to be up to something. I want to try just freeze over the top of it so we can walk across.
Frost looks slightly distressed at that.
You can make an arete roll.
Not all of the top, just like a tiny pathway, just in case that's important.
Kind of like what the Snowman Digimon did, Frigimon, to get Tai and Agumon across.
You are able to gather the necessary magic to do so.
Frost elects to stay in the boat.
Wait, did we find a boat? I thought we were looking for
You guys are
one.
not in a boat yet. You guys are still on the paths through the place.
Ah.
The moment you do start freezing the liquid silver, though, many of the broods stop and look at you. Very, very carefully. But they haven't made any moves on you, though, because they can perceive what you're doing. So they aren't not attacking or hostile.
Frost just glares at Bren.
I don't trust them. But I
Me?
also don't like to screw with their realm either. We don't want to inadvertently cause something to escape that's not supposed to.
The entirety of it isn't frozen, just a path so we can cross. We haven't been able to get a boat, so why not just pass this way?
Yeah, you have a clear-cut path now to the fortress. Maybe like a 10-15 minute walk. You'll be able to make it there.
Frost just looks at the frozen Lake of Silver, then at his paws, then at the Lake of Silver, then back down at his paws, and just glares.
Can we say that I have little paw booties?
Touching silver will not actually hurt you. It's only like a wound or damage from a silver source.
I mean, that doesn't...
Right, then Frost walks tentatively on the frozen silver. Still not happy about it.
Don't worry, Fluffykins. When we get back, I will make sure to get you some little paw booties.
Is it bad I now want little tiny jagged pieces that don't like do actual damage but are just irritating to step on for Frost?
I can't imagine that Frost is making along too well, because metal would be kind of a sheer surface for a wolf's paws.
Yeah, this is magically created though.
Fair enough.
That's a great idea. I'm just going to run and slide across it like a slip and slide.
Just make sure to stay on the path.
It's the straight path created by magic. We're good.
Yeah, but physics work in mysterious ways.
You guys are soon able to make it to the fortress. There are no guards outside of it. The entire castle looks to be made out of almost what seems to be black obsidian. And as you near the doors, they swing open.
There was some big doors that opened on their own. Feels like home.
I wish I could afford a place like this. I can barely afford my apartment.
You know, I do have a wonderful guest house you'd be welcome to stay in.
Frost just looks at Bren quizzically, then looks around and then looks back, trying to get across with all the likes of silver and werewolves.
We did make it to the castle, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the doors have swung open. I suppose I will, walk in.
Okay.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? We'd kind of like to get home.
As you speak, inside, silver blazers burn with a silver fire. And you can see mirrors, hundreds, thousands. Almost every surface, ceiling, and floor is covered in ornate, beautiful mirrors.
Sky would like to look in a mirror.
You do not see what you should see from the reflection. Instead, you see what looks to be a man curled up and crying in an alleyway, almost huddled into a box, his clothing ragged and torn.
That is a strange sight. Is it an area that Sky would recognize as
Nope.
being on the mortal plane, or
For that, yes, that seems to be definitely a city, a normal city.
But we're still inside the castle.
Yes.
And nobody's answering me.
You can hear movement, but you don't see anything.
this goes against my better judgment, but Sky would like to touch the mirror and
Nothing
see
happens.
if anything happens. Nothing? Nothing at all.
Mm-mm.
It's just flat surface.
Yep. You guys can sense you are being watched, though.
Frost just focuses on the path ahead.
I have correspondence magic. Are they watching us through that?
They are watching you through the mirrors.
Can I roll to see if I can spot the mirror they're watching us through?
You can make a roll.
Perception awareness or alertness?
Perception awareness.
Ow!
Yeah, that'd definitely be an ow.
I got distracted.
Yep. You don't see anything. You don't know which one they're coming from.
Would I be able to use my heightened senses to perhaps get an idea of which direction they're coming from?
Sure, make a perception awareness roll.
Perception awareness.
Hello? Are you there? We were told we needed to come here and talk to you here. Is anybody there? We just really like to go home now.
I got nothing.
We came across some guy that kind of just made us all teleport here. Sorry for trespassing or something, but could you let us out? Hello? Yeah, guys, I'm not. There's. Doesn't seem to be anybody here.
I guess we should just go deeper then.
One of the mirrors ripples as you see one of the brood step out. This one is different from the others. He is clad in armor of pure silver, and his skin almost seems like it is made of the substance, blazing red eyes watching you all. In his hand, resting over his shoulder, is a very long silver spear. So, you're the ones we've been hearing all about, hmm? His voice is deep, almost guttural.
I would think so, and if you would show us the way out of here, we'll happily get out of your hair.
Frost just thinks that's in slightly poor taste.
Yes, we just kind of wound up here. There was this thing called a Marauder. He kind of caused reality to go all wonky on us, and now we're here, and we've been told very firmly we don't belong here. And we'd like to, rectify that. If you could just point us to the exit, maybe? Please?
Only Our Lady can allow you exit. However, it's rare that we have guests. Usually we have only the unfortunates to deal with. Please, come this way. And he will wave you down towards one of the hallways and begin to walk down it.
I'll follow.
Frost shrugs and follows.
Yeah.
It was going to be better than out there.
Yeah, I'll follow as well.
Though, a quick question, was Sky able to come in? Because Bren would care about that.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, I forgot that they can't normally enter. But then again, I suppose that the doors opening kind of that
Yeah,
is
that
kind
sort of does. Yeah.
It's basically
It
an
definitely
invitation.
was welcoming.
Yeah.
I also made the comment of it feels like home. So, kind of makes sense.
So you guys follow your guide then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
by any chance, as we are going, does anything seem unusual? Could Sky hear anything? Perhaps?
Not really. As you are going through, you can see along the walls and such, are as well as the mirrors are weapons of great power. They're practically thrumming with it. You don't even need to make a roll to sense it. Great trophies of ages past, items of vast wealth and power, great tapestries hang on the walls and ceiling, along with the mirrors. Otherwise, it seems like you are mostly alone, though you do still have that sense of being watched from all over the place.
Hmm. Alrighty then.
Right now, I think we're just settling for following along.
Okay, just had to check. You guys are soon led into a great throne room. And seated upon the throne is a woman in very beautiful black and red gown. Silver jewelry lines her wrists and neck, and her eyes blaze with a faint red light. She is just very casual on her throne, a small smile on her lips as you guys enter.
Well, hello there. I am Cody Taylor. These are my compatriots. This is Frost, Sky, and Bren. We got Randall back there, and I suddenly cannot remember Zyzen. Nice to make your acquaintance.
Her smile grows just a tiny hair, almost like a ghost of a smirk. As she calmly gets to her feet and gives a small nod of her head towards Cody. Manners, in this day and age, I almost thought they were extinct.
Well, you know what they say, you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. And manners are simple to give.
Sky will just bow to the queen of the realm, being of ancient, a long life is customary. Hello, my lady. Is pleased to make your acquaintance. It seems we are definitely out of our element here. We wish to return henceforth home.
She gives a small nod. I understand. Normally, I would frown upon guests dropping in as you did. However, I am also aware that none of you willingly attempted to try to travel here, and that it was only by the fickle strands of the Weaver's fate and chance that brought you here. Be at ease, so long as you respect my hospitality, you are in no danger.
Well, I appreciate that reassurance, definitely. He's just shuffling
Bren-
awkwardly.
Bren, Cody, and Frost may all make occult rolls, intelligence occult rolls.
Sky doesn't have to.
This is very particular knowledge. Not knowledge I think a vampire would probably have. Bren and Bren alone knows this. You can feel it now that you're this close to her. The sheer amount of power she possesses. It is unlike anything you have ever encountered. The Order of Hermes considers themselves to be experts in spirits and binding, and she is not like any other spirit you have ever encountered or even heard about, really. This is more like a personification of a force of nature than any of the spirits you have ever dealt with before. She is extremely powerful, but it seems most of her power is tied here to this place.
I see. I'm not going to go talking about that while we're right in front of her.
Is there anything any of you wish to say to her, though, too?
This is a nice place you have. Definitely a lot of room.
She gives a soft chuckle. It's never changed since the dawn and beginning of things. Erebus has always existed as it is now. The only difference is how many unfortunates call it home.
I would like to ask, what is it that... Is there any reason that there seem to be more unfortunates? Or has it always been increasing?
She looks over at the vampire. She's quiet for a moment as though considering. Erebus has always been a place of purification and cleansing. That is its purpose. It is not my purpose to decide who does or does not come here. It is merely my role to ensure that those who do come are cleansed and purified and healed.
Does that mean it has been more difficult, I suppose, to purify the unfortunates that show up?
She chuckles a little bit, waves her fingers, and all of the gates and doors into this chamber seal shut. Oh no. No. For you see, it is not Erebus's purpose to cleanse people. It merely shows the path. It is those who are within those lakes of silver and rivers that decide for themselves if they will be purified or not.
Then, would one be safe to assume that they are choosing to suffer more than to be cleansed?
She is quiet for a moment, as though considering the answer. It is not that simple. Vampire, do you consider what you do to be wrong?
I consider what I do to be underhanded at times, but for the most part, I would believe that I am not doing too much to upset the order.
And yet your very existence, unchanging, unliving, you feed on the very lifeblood of beings.
This is true. However, is a vampire of noble descent. We mainly only feed upon those who have chosen to give themselves up to feed. It is not as if we are or I am of the vampires that would feed at random to fulfill their lust and desire for blood.
She just simply smiles. I rest my case.
So you're trying to convey that Sky here would not be able to make it back out of here because he sees nothing wrong in what he does. Am I correct?
Many of those who fall into my care do not believe that they have done anything wrong, or that what they are doing was right, or they had to make hard choices. Even some of the more sane Black Spiral dancers within my realm were like that. Truly understanding that what you did was wrong, and facing up to it, and accepting that, is extremely difficult for you mortals, I've found.
Does beg a curious question.
Yes, Cody Taylor?
In the case of Sky here, for all mortals, part of life is eating. And the only thing that he can get sustenance from is blood, as far as I'm aware. Maybe there are other options, I don't know. But he doesn't really have a choice in that. Does that still make it wrong of him if he only takes it from those that are willing? Or is he meant to just lay down and starve to death? Or read death? I'm sure you understand my question.
Such a thing stretches beyond my purview. My purview is only in purification and redemption. A vampire does not fall into that. I deal only with the Guru, as she waves a hand towards Frost. However, I do have my own beliefs. However, I do not let those cloud my judgment. He is not within my domain, therefore, I do not act. Were he to be within my domain, he would be burning within a lake of silver the moment you had landed.
Oh, so I guess this means that Frost here is a good boy, huh? He gives a slightly awkward chuckle.
Frost just glares at Cody.
He does not carry any taint within him. And thus, he is safe. I instructed my brood to not play their little games with any of you while you were on your way here. A courtesy for those who chose not to come and were forced to.
I will definitely extend my deepest thanks for that.
She nods slightly. There is a difference between willingness and being pushed into doing something. You all were pushed.
I would really call it more of a yanking, but yes, definitely not willing.
Perhaps, though, as she looks at all of you, you can get the sense that she's not looking at you, but rather at something almost what could be called within you. Or around you. It's difficult to describe. You will carry that. Interesting. Tell
Not
me.
a soul, I can say that much.
She just chuckles a little bit. She glances at Sky. Tell me, perhaps you would be willing to do something for me.
No offense, but I would prefer to know what it is before I would feel comfortable agreeing.
Protection.
It's always protection. Anyway. And what would one such as yourself need protection from?
Oh, it is not for I. It is for a being who, a little less than a decade ago, came to be within my care. Times are passing, and how shall I say it in terms you mortals will understand? Time does not exist the way that you all perceive it, or how will I say, you think it works. And there are a confluence of events coming in the future. Events of which it appears you all will play a very important part in, though how I am not aware of. But there was one being who was, you could say, given to me by Gaia herself to guard. Frost? Lord Flufferkins?
Yeah.
I love how he
This-
responded to that name and not his actual chosen one.
I was a little distracted.
This would be a WTF HAX. What the fuck? 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 This would be like full blown bouncing off the walls, freaking out kind of moment for any werewolf. Gaia has not been seen or heard from in pretty much centuries, and yet she says that she spoke to her less than a decade ago.
Frost looks rather surprised then.
Alright. What is it that Gaia had left under your protection then, that now needs further protection on our part?
One moment. Just double checking something. Sorry, I just needed to double check something real quick. A child that was given into my care. One quite important. I have a guard with him at all times. One of a very loyal guru. One who has cleansed himself of his taints. But I believe that the forces of the Destroyer are after him. And should the worst come to pass, I believe it would be the end of all things.
So you wish for us to protect this kid?
Yes.
I may not understand the scope of this place, but wouldn't he be safest here? Or are you saying you want us to stay here?
She shakes her head. He cannot remain here, not if his time is coming. He will need to go out into the world to carry out his duties, to carry out the tasks that destiny have assigned to him. But whether he will succeed or fail, well, there's no guarantee of which way the threads of destiny may fall.
So we either take him out or the whole world's going to end.
Possibly, perhaps, you can succeed without him being there.
I mean,
But I do
don't.
know that
My apologies.
the Great Corruptor will not rest, though, until he can have this child for itself. And should the child fall into his clutches, I do not believe anything will be able to save your world.
All right. Well, we can definitely take him with us. Though perhaps someone as wise as yourself might be able to help us with another problem that we've got to deal with in addition.
And what
Are you familiar with the fair folk?
indeed
We have
I know of them.
we have one by the name of Domino who is also planning, the end of the world. And we got to deal with him as well, apparently. Any suggestions on that?
I'm afraid he falls outside of my domain.
Okay. So you have no idea how we might stop him?
There are others who would likely know more
All right.
than I in that regard.
Well, I thank you for that. Any others that I might want to try and somehow contact?
I can make inquiries for you.
That would be very appreciated.
It is rare that I see such respected manners. I suppose that it is only fair, especially if you agree to do such a task for me.
I would be more than happy. Like I said, my only real concern is the fact that we already have one battle we've got to fight, and if we can deal with the fight on one front, so we can focus on the other front, it would make things a lot easier. Especially because we're only a few of us here. I know my brother and I don't have a whole lot that we can bring to the table, but we do what we can. I at least have lots of guns.
I question whether or not traditional firearms will be sufficient. After all, we hardly know what kind of danger what was it? Whatever the thing was we needed to protect the kid from.
Corruptor.
Corruptor. We don't know what kind of being the corruptor is.
The worm.
We don't need to worry about the firearms being traditional. We could always just spice them up some.
Frost
Is
just looks like he's decided to help regardless of what the party thinks.
Would we have any knowledge of the corruptor?
It's the
Or
worm.
worm?
Yes. The worm itself is after whoever she wants you to protect.
Hmm.
Do you remember what the worm is, Karma?
No, I don't.
The worm
Should
is
I?
one of the big three. They've mentioned it before. The worm. Oh, go ahead.
Easy way to think about it is it was the world's recycling bin, and then the Weaver got upset it was causing chaos and destroying things, so they stuck it in the threads of reality, and then the worm got ticked off, it's stuck, and now wants to destroy everything.
Yep.
Okie dokie. Sorry, I didn't remember that.
So I was seeing if I could find a picture. Yes, the worm is basically responsible for wanting to end reality. But yes, continue on.
I have nothing more to ask. Mm, Seems as if it is a necessity to protect the child.
Then will you all take on this task?
Yes, yes, we will.
Frost nods and looks determined.
I guess we kinda have to.
You are free to decline if you wish.
I'm good.
She will nod and snap her fingers once. And a werewolf with dark black fur, and his fur looks like it's etched with silver tattoos and markings. Any of you may make intelligence plus occult rolls.
This is definitely a lunar.
Lunars don't exist at this time.
God, I had a lot of ones in that, but also a lot of high numbers.
You got 3.
Yeah.
Not sure how many I got.
I got all
2.
of 1.
Yeah, those markings are markings of dedication and worship and other dark, bad things for dedication to the Black Spiral Dancers and the Worm. But the tattoos, though, themselves seem to be made of silver and faintly glowing with like their own inner light. And in his arms, you can see he is holding a sleeping child who is about a 5 foot tall snarling death beast. which I'm just gonna use your occult rolls from before. Cody, Bren, you guys have heard that only like deformed werewolves can be Krynos as children. Frost, you recognize this should be a Matisse, but you don't see any deformities on them. Something that every single one of them should have.
Frost looks a little surprised.
Isn't that... Oh boy. I don't suppose that he can turn into a human form, can he?
No, he's still too young.
Oh boy.
He hasn't gone through the first change yet. It's not the woman who speaks here, but the one holding him.
I won't lie, it's going to be a bit difficult to keep him safe in the real world, since he kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, but I might be able to figure something out.
I can. You first.
Right. Frost has a Cody and kind of gestures to himself.
For Frost, you would know. Normally, a way that the Gru deal with Matisse is either kill them at birth, or lock them away and keep them away from everyone until they finally become teenagers and go through the first change. Neither of which is really, humane or kind or nice.
You were gonna say, Bren?
I have a few contacts. If you give me a little bit of time, I could get a place that should be safe for him.
I can keep him at my home. I've got a few... I've got a few methods of protecting him in the home. It's more... I don't really want to keep the poor kid cooped up inside the house, but... I've got my hunter markings that can just basically stop anything from going in, right?
As long as their will isn't stronger than yours, yes.
Oh, I didn't realize that was a thing, but okay. I will keep that
Yeah,
in
they
mind.
can still try to break through the wardings.
Frost just stares at...
So perhaps combine the hunter wardings with mage wardings.
Frost stares at Cody, pondering whether he has a spare trench coat or not.
I guess I could roll Animal Ken, and what did we decide it was for me to understand what he's trying to convey? Was it intelligence,
yes.
or?
You can make intelligence roll.
Intelligence plus Animal Ken?
Sure.
Do I know what Frost is trying to say?
Yes.
A trench coat would be good for most of him. Some gloves on his hands. The main problem is, the snout. And Cody will reach down and boop Frost's nose. That's a little more difficult to hide.
We could always claim he's one of those fanatical furry things I've heard of.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing them mentioned on the web. Maybe we should. Yeah, I mean, just say it's what do they call them? Mascot suits.
Or people could just not see him.
Uh,
Frost snaps at Cody and gestures that maybe a hood would be enough.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor. He kind of glued his mascot suit on. Don't worry about the mother. She kind of just skipped town and dumped him on me. It was a high school fling. I didn't even know about the kid until just recently. But yeah, he's kind of fanatical. He glued the thing on. We can't get it off, so we just kind of make do, you know?
So, outside of the furry idea, how much correspondence would it take me to be able to make it so anyone who looks at him doesn't get a good view and kind of looks the other way?
How are you doing it?
You know how sight is based off of, like, the, light hitting your iris and such, and then sending signals to your brain? Making it so the light bouncing off of his face doesn't go towards people and goes away, so it's kind of like a blurry, they don't really see it.
Do you have forces?
Double checking now, I believe I do. Yeah. Correspondence 2, forces 3.
You could pull that off, yeah.
Cool. This is just going to be a real life pixelization.
By the way, this werewolf has not let go of the boy this entire time. Is just watching all of you very warily.
I definitely believe we can keep him safe.
Well, of course you can, because I'm going with him.
What?
Did I stutter or are your ears not working, human?
Frost looks at Cody and shakes his head.
Okay. Quick question. Can you become a human?
Yes.
Okay.
I can.
Then this will work.
has anybody thought of 3 kobolds in a trench coat?
Or 5 Martens in a trench coat.
Hey, Karma.
Hmm?
How old are you again?
Yes.
No. This is actually extremely important. Like, extremely important.
Character? Question mark?
Were you around during Rome?
He's asking yes. How old is your character?
No, Jesus. Yes, I was going around for the first coming of Christ. No, character sheet.
That's specifically just what I need to know. Were you around when Rome was a thing?
Mm.
Karma, I think this is
490.
a thing where you can basically just decide, yes, I was, or no, I wasn't. Do you want to be that old?
Just deciding goes against the concept of a character, though.
That's the character.
You know what? I'm going with the whole idea that my garb and clothes are from that or from that long ago, so I'm just going to go off it and say yes.
Okay. Second question. Have you always gone by Sky, or did you go by an older name back then?
I would have to assume that over the centuries and millennia, I've gone by many different names.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
After all,
So,
it'd be
when
really
this figure...
weird to have someone named Sky or O'Brien the Great.
So, yeah, this guy is going to look at you, Sky, and he's going to blink and stare at you for a moment. The werewolf cocking his head before he says, "Insert name here?" in a very confused tone.
Yes, I don't know how I got wound up in this again.
Hmm. Well, this is surprising. As you see his fur begin to recede, and a large man, 6 feet tall, very burly and strong looking, like he could probably lift a small car with his bare hands.
I would just like to point out that Cody is taller.
He has black hair. It looks like it's cut short right now, though you remember him particularly with much longer hair. And you remember him being one of the leaders of the old tribes of Galt who led their forces against the Roman army and pushed them back.
Well, aren't you a sight for sore eyes?
He gives a small shrug.
It's only been centuries, no, millennia?
Millennia. Well, this is surprising though. And as he looks at the others, who are all of you? And just why should I put my charge in your care as well?
Well, I am Cody Taylor. This is my brother Randall. We are hunters. Kind of wound up allied with these fine folks. This one here is Lord Fluffykins, Destroyer of All.
Frost just goes and snaps at Cody. Then,
This
goes
adorable
to
little guy.
human form.
This adorable little guy here is Martokio. And I reach up and pat the Marten's head. He has another name, but I can't really pronounce it. It's not quite in English, so...
Frost goes to his Homid form and... Oh, fish. I didn't think of this when coming up with a character. Basically mentions that his job is to protect the two hunters. As annoying as they can be.
Hey, you know you like our pocket jerky.
Well, I guess I should introduce myself. End of session. Mostly because we're about to lose one of our players in the next 10 minutes. And we're only going to have 2 other people other than Zim, so... Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you all so much for joining us today for Darkest Dreams World of Darkness. I will be back in a few minutes with some more streaming. I've got to take Chim off to work, but then I will be back and keep on streaming. Do check out our website in the meantime, zgfgaming.com. We've got links for our Discord, Telegram, Twitter, Patreon, all those things there on the website, as well as down in the description below. Thank you to my patrons, donators, and subscribers. It is because of all of you that I'm able to continue bringing these streams to you all. We really could not continue these streams without your support, so thank you so much for it. Do consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/zgfgaming. You can also support the channel by donating to it directly or simply by sharing it around with everyone. You can also grab some merchandise. You'll find links to that on the website and in the description, both on the YouTube recording here and in the Twitch channel. That's a great way to support the channel, as well as grabbing some very fine merchandise. We do our best to provide quality stuff for you all. But yeah, thank you so much for joining. I'll be back in a few minutes with more streaming. But for now, I bid you all the most fondest adieu.
Bye-bye. Thank you all for coming.
Bye.
For long.